Hello everyone, it's me. So my name is Laura and I am an illustrator and an artist, but I also love to color. And so if you're new to this channel, this is a color and chat video where I will basically be coloring in real time and explaining what I'm doing. And then also, ooh, sorry. I'm bringing up my chat, but I guess I had my sound on my computer. My bad. So I'm just trying to find you guys. Um, so if you're new to my channel, then what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to start a new series. This is from the book Magical Dawn by Hanna Karlzon. And what I'm going to be doing today is this page here. This series will be dedicated to Emma. Good morning. Hello, Melissa and Debbie. Nice to see you. I'm trying to bring up the chat on my laptop. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is. Yay, okay, I found myself. Hey guys! Alright, welcome. Hello everybody. So before I get started doing this, I haven't been around for a while, and I'm really sorry about that. I've had a lot going on, very busy with work, and also just going through a lot personally, so I haven't really been able to video, but this video here that I'm going to be doing out of Magical Dawn is a request from a very dear friend of mine who I chat with all the time on Instagram. But before I get started, I just want to show you guys, so I got a coloring book haul, so that's really fun. So I got a lot of new books. Thanks, Melissa. Thanks for understanding. So I have here like 8 new books, I think, so I'm going to be sharing that stuff with you. I also, just because I haven't been, doesn't mean that I haven't been coloring, so I'll show you some I've been working on lately too. Okay, so just without any further ado, I'm just going to jump right in. So I got a whole bunch of new books. This is Summer Nights by Summer Nights by Hanna Karlzon. And I'm not going to do full flip-throughs because I think most of these you guys have already seen probably a bazillion times. But I'll do like this quick flip. I just love her work. I have Magical Dawn. That was the first book I bought from her. And I just thought, you know, I'd get, so I also got Daydreams. Alright, so we have, yeah, book haul. So I have some books which you guys will probably recognize and know right off the bat, like these books here. And then I also did buy some books which I feel are lesser known, or I haven't really seen a whole lot of coloring in. So I thought I would go ahead and kind of add to my coloring book collection. So then I got this book here, which I absolutely love. I love Disney. I grew up watching Disney movies. So what's cool about this book is it has the original Thomas Kincade painting alongside the coloring book page, so you can really enjoy, you know, if you want to copy his work, you can just enjoy relaxing and doing that, or you can take his work and make it your own. Either way, I think that's pretty cool. So there's that book. Then I have, I am a big bike fan. I bicycle for exercise all the time. So this here is a book which I have been eyeing up and wanting for a long time. So here we go. This is a really big book, so again, I'm not going to page through the whole thing. Oh, there's a, looks like a poster in the middle. That's cool. So this book here, quite hefty. It's by Shan Jiang, the bicycle coloring book. And I'm sorry if I butcher anybody's names. Don't mean to. Another book which I haven't seen a whole lot, but I just think fits my personality quite well, is Myth and Magic by Kinuko Craft. So she's a United States illustrator, I believe, in San Francisco or out west somewhere. And I just love her style of work. I'm all about fantasy and people. So there's that book. Then I've been a big fan of Alphonse Mucha probably my entire life, or ever since I started really paying attention to art history. So I got this book. Well, you guys, I only have about 40 or so coloring books now with this new haul. I am still fairly new to coloring. I started just under a year ago, and I have a very limited budget. So I tend to only buy books here and there when I've... so this book here, I don't read whatever language this is, I'm really sorry. But it is called The Mountain Sea Classics of the Deities, I guess? Graceful Ancient Style Coloring Book. Doesn't have an author. I don't know what any... So if anybody knows what any of this writing is, I would be happy to... I can see what the what information I can get from the website. But I just thought this book was pretty cool. Yeah, I just pre-ordered the mermaid book from Camilla too. I have her pop manga book actually here, which I just got too. So then, I'm a pretty big gaming geek, and I love games. Hi Natalie, nice to see you too. Thank you for popping in. So I also got, I took a, the paper looks okay, but it is double-sided. I wouldn't send this at all. But, thought this would be a fun book. I used to play this as a girl, so I thought that would be really fun time. So that's my big haul. Now, before I jump into what we're going to actually be, oh, cool. Nice, Melissa. So before we jump into what I'm going to work on today, I also thought I would show some finished pieces and some works in progress, just to kind of show you guys what I've been up to lately. So a recent piece that I just finished is in Vilin by Tomislav Tomic, and it's this page here. And you guys actually saw me coloring this a little while ago. I was using marker. I also, oops, sorry camera. I also recently finished this piece here, and this has a lot of, here, let me remove this just so that you guys can really see. This has a lot of like glitter I don't know if you guys can really see it with the camera. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Glad you guys like it. I don't know if the glitter really shows up, but, it's there. I can see it. So here's that. Thank you. So that's in Vilin by Tomislav Tomic. He's one of my favorite illustrators. Okay. I finished a piece in Mythomorphia. Okay, so what happened was this is actually a color along with a bunch of buddies of mine, so they haven't released it yet, but I started this page and I didn't really like how it was turning out. I wasn't feeling it. So I went out and I bought a second copy. And so here we are with the new final. So this is a sneak peek. I haven't posted this yet anywhere on Instagram or Facebook. I'm not going to go really into depth about that. But it is really looking forward to posting that. Yeah, whenever I make a mistake, I just go out and buy another copy. So I did get this one, the Pop Manga coloring book, and I did start a little doodle in it. I didn't finish at all, but just kind of quickly started with markers. We have a visitor. Abby might come in and hang out with us. No, cutie. Okay, so now I also just started a page yesterday in this book here, Zemlja Snova. So this is like going to be my summertime coloring page. Then I also finished a piece in the book Succulent Dragons by Stephanie Law. This page here is covered in gold. I'm not sure if the light is very good today, but this is there's a lot of like gold shimmer to it, so that was a lot of fun. I also finished a work in one of my own coloring pages, this one here, and I also did a finished one of, this is again from my Etsy store, so that's the Faecorn. And then I also did a unicorn from Annie Stegg's Moonlit Vale. And all of these books I do have the print copies of, however, I also have the PDFs because I did their Kickstarters, both Stephanie and Annie. And so I prefer to print it out onto cardstock and leave the book as it is, just because the books are rather small. So I kind of like just being able to print them out. So now that we have gone through all the news, all the coloring news, let's get back to this page here. And so this page was a request, but I thought it would cover, oh, where is it? Sorry guys. Did I pass it? I thought it was pretty early on in the book. What the heck? Am I in the wrong one? Yeah, that's fine. I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong book. Okay, Magical Dawn. Okay. My bad. Alright. I knew it was pretty early on in the book. There we go. Alright, so, what I thought I I'm gonna do is just go through step by step how I work on this spread here. So today I'm going to start out first by working with watercolors. So I have here the Yarka pan pigment watercolor set. This is a very old set. I've had this since 2001, but they're up there so you can see. This is a poured pan set. I've since replaced some of the pans over the years, but what's nice about these is that they're relatively inexpensive for the quality of the paint, I think. So I've used these since my student years and just never really upgraded to a more expensive set. I'm just used to them. I also have an assortment of brushes. I'll show you. So I have like a little brush jar here. I have a whole bunch of different brushes that I have just sitting in this little jar here. Okay. Alright, so to get started, I just sort of want to talk how I'm going to approach this page. I hope that you can still hear me. I'm sitting down now. Okay, so let's see, and if anybody has any questions throughout the course of this video, please feel free to ask in the chat, or if you're watching this after, then in the comments below, and I'll be happy to get to you. I just want to let you know, like going forward, I won't be responding to criticism that isn't constructive. I've been getting some of that lately, and I'm just not going to be replying to that stuff. But otherwise, if you have a question, I'm really interested to help you guys out. That's what I'm here for. So anyway, without any further ado, let's get started. So I feel like this page is all about summertime. You've got the stars, you've got the butterflies and the flowers, and her dress has leaves in it. So it really feels to me like a summertime page. And since we've just gone through the first day of summer yesterday, I thought this would be a perfect time to start this page. So I want to do some summertime colors. I'm really in the summertime kind of a mode right now. It's really warm outside. So to do this page in the background, I think how I visualize, how I'm seeing this page play out in my mind is that the background will be all like a starry sky. Oh, thank you, Debbie. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it, but you know, if people have something constructive to say, if they are trying to help me out, that's one thing. I'm really happy to listen to that. But criticism which has no real helpful you know, message to it, or any sort of way for me to improve or do better, I feel like people are just yeah, being mean for no reason, really. So I'm gonna stop replying to that stuff. Okay, so yeah, thanks, Melissa. So I think what I'm gonna do is to like, when I think summer, I think like sunset colors. So reds and golds, oranges, like all the warm colors to really like bring like warmth to the page. So I'm gonna do a sunset background, and then in watercolor, and then I think since her hair has these stars in them, I think I'm gonna make her hair black, since a hair tutorial has been something that a lot of people have been asking, and I think that black hair is one of the most difficult types of hair to do. Oh, welcome, Mona. Well, yep, you're welcome to join us. There's no, you know, requirements or anything like that. Just jump in and ask any questions that you have. Okay, good. And then I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do for the dress and the flowers yet, but I'll let that develop as I go. I think start by mixing up some colors. I'll put the book aside a little bit here so that way you guys can see my palette. So with watercolor, first I start by activating the color, and that just involves me dropping water onto each of the pans. Now with tubes, you won't really have to do this if you're squeezing it out of the tube and paletting up, then that's what you would be doing right now. But since this is a poured pan set, and you want to use clean water. Good morning. Welcome. Oh, great. Well, if you have any questions as I go, please feel free to just ask in the chat. You'll find that the coloring community is in general very open and welcoming. I jumped right in about just under a year ago, and I love it. Hello, Cheshire. How are you? Alright, so we've got all of the colors all wet and ready to go. I'm going to start with my lightest color. I'm going to actually clean this bit of the palette a little bit. It's a little too green for me. So I start first with just clean water, and I'm just moving the color that's there around. Now I'm going to take a clean brush and squeeze the water out until the brush is dry. I don't know if you guys could see that. And then I'm just lifting the color just to clean it up a little bit. Again, to do that, you just take a clean brush and squeeze the water out of the brush. You can lift watercolors off of your paper this way as well. Alright, so now I have at least a somewhat cleaner. See, I've got like this well of, there we go. I could also take a paper towel to this at some point if I felt like it. But I don't mind some of the color remaining there. I'm just trying to get the bulk of it. Alright. So as I mix up my colors, I want you guys to let me know in the chat, what are you guys working on? What books? And what media? I'm always curious to hear. And if you have like recent stuff that you've posted on Facebook or Instagram, go ahead and feel free to link that in the chat as well. Alright, that's much better. Okay, and the reason why I wanted a nice clean... Oh, Forest Girls. I've been eyeing that book as well. It's on my wish list. I'm getting there. Beautiful book. Okay. So what I'm doing here is I'm just paletting up the pure colors into different spots on the palette. Okay, Wonderful, Debbie. Another magical dawn lady in the room. So that's good. So some colors are more transparent and opaque than others, so some of them I have to palette a lot more color than others. Okay, and you can see I'm not very tidy, but in this situation with yellow, you kind of want to be. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, this red over here. Okay, so now I have a whole bunch of sunset colors that I've put on my palette. Now I'm going to add a little bit more neutrals. And I'm going to also mix up a nice swatch of blue over here in this blue well that I already have going. So Debbie, why did you put a frowny face after you said that? Alright, so I'm gonna just palette up a bunch of blue. Oh, okay. It's okay. No worries about the typo. Just wanted to make sure you were doing okay over there. Alright, so we've got a nice blue here. So I've got a whole bunch of primary colors. You'll see as I go with the paper, I'm going to be mixing and making them blended together. Okay, so I hope that you can see the majority of the spread. I actually want to put something, let me grab some cardstock. Okay, so I have here just some plain pieces of paper. I'm going to stick them underneath. Last thing I want to do is get the pages that are beneath soaking wet as well. Not that I'm going to try and soak the page, but better off safe than sorry, right? Okay. Alright. Oh no. Alright, that's okay. So I'm going to start out wetting the paper here. Now you can see my water already has some color to it. That's okay. They're all the colors that I was working through when I was paletting. So I'm not being precise here. Watercolor can be difficult to control. Now I'm going to work on both sides of the page at once. And watch out for this here. Okay. We just dove right into that. Okay, now I'm going to snag some of the blue from my palette. And then also mix it with some of the red to produce like a nice... So this paper is not watercolor paper, it is buckling. However, the trick with it is just to not overwork it. just lay down your color and don't go over it too many times. And hopefully you won't overwork the surface enough to pill it. Now obviously I'm just laying down base colors here. I'm also working with a fairly small brush. It's because I'm having to get around a lot of this detail. But you can see I'm not being precise, and I'm going clear over the stars that are in the background. The edges of her hair I'm not worrying about. I'm just going clear right over them. So it's not going to look beautiful right now, but that's okay. What we're trying for is a base. Well, hello, Christy. Welcome. Happy Friday. I'm glad that you can join us. So here I'm going to start working in just right on the dry paper. With a fairly medium to dry brush. Now at this point getting quite dry. And at this point it's just all about water regulation. You can see I try to work through the elements. So, I feel like at this point I've started to get down to the point where I really want to start mixing in the reds. So I'm going to move over to that color palette right around here actually. Now you can choose wherever you like in the sky. You can use your own color scheme for this. I'm just showing you how I'm approaching the page. So I'm just sort of blending it in with the colors that are already there. And now moving into a more red tone. Not worrying too much about being precise about every little detail. Preferring if I'm erring on the side of going over the lines. Now what I plan to do after this, it's not going to be a pure watercolor piece. So I do plan to do pencil over this. But this is just a nice base to get us going pretty quickly with this large area. Covering a lot of the white of the paper is really fun. Right off the bat. Really just helps kind of get you going. Oh, thank you. I'm doing okay. Had a lot of stuff going on. Very, very busy. But I can say that I'm trying to do what I love as much as possible, so that is always a nice thing. And I'm really, really grateful to be here. So, but how are you? I I don't think I've seen you here, or at least not very often. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going on this guy. Now if you have edges that get kind of dried, you can kind of gently work it, but with this paper you got to be careful. It's not watercolor paper, so best bet is if it's really bad, wait for it to dry and go over it with pencil. You can always fix things with pencil. Okay. Oh, see, if you go over the line, so you can do what I showed you before, where you squeeze out any water in the brush, then we can just lift that up. We might not take it completely off, but it will be a lot less distinct. You can even do it with stuff that's been kind of dried. Alright. Just fuzzing out lines. Alright, so now I'm going for more of the oranges, just mixing it in. And I'm using a dirty palette technique where each color, I'll show you, each color I've just mixed right on top of the others so that they kind of all have their own flavor from each other. So as I go, I just add the next color on top. And so the bright color becomes dull. And they all kind of work together because they all have bits of each other in each other, if that makes sense. So I started out with the blue of the sky, because that's sort of like the foundation color. Like the sky is blue, right? Like sometimes, most of the time. That's the color it is naturally in the sunlight. And then I moved into the reds, and then now I'm moving into the warmer colors. So even though we started out with those pure yellows, you'll see they won't be pure yellow by the time we're done. It'll have like some of the flavor of the other stuff. Okay, so since I have no idea what color I want to do these flowers, I'm going to have to unfortunately work around them. Because if I want them a light color, I'm going to have to reserve the white of the paper. Yes, I thought it was your first. Oh, well, I'm happy to watercolor. I haven't done this in a while, so it's quite fun. Sometimes I don't know where the background is and where the... So pardon me if I pause while I consider the lines. Okay. Alright, so what I'm doing right now is just sort of smoothing out some of the lines that seem a little harsh. You can do this before they're fully dried or after they're dried. You just take a semi-wet brush and just kind of work over the paper. We want to be careful about exactly how much working we do with this paper, but luckily it can withstand some treatment. So it doesn't have to be perfect right away. Okay, so now I'm going to add in some of that yellow to the palette. And I like to overlap the colors, so that way it sort of blends it. So they don't look so separate, but instead like a harmonious continuous sky. But like these harsh lines here that you see, don't fret about those. If that's happening and you're worried about it, you can always fix these things with pencil. Okay, now I'm mixing in a lot of the pure yellow down here. And the yellow I don't mind as much about going over the lines with it because yellow is so easy to go over with other colors. It rarely ever muddies the color. Let me make sure that I have my... Okay, so now I have to make a decision about the ground and see here how I kind of want to make this all work. So I feel like maybe we're going to go to a dark color here. Let's go to back down to orangey a little bit first. And where's this happening? So we'll do the shadows orange. And I'm just picking any old color I feel like. Well, welcome everyone that's new and also everybody that is joining us who's been here before. I think it's just wonderful to have you here. Lovely to sit and chat with my ladies. Okay. I think this is all background, but if it isn't, it's becoming background, because that's just how I roll. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I mean, sometimes you just have to make decisions. I think... Yep, I think that's all background. Well, it just became background. Okay. I'm just spreading out the watercolor so it's even as it dries. If you get puddles of water, that can be corrected with lifting the water as well. Just be careful about overworking this paper. It can take some wet media, as you see, but okay, so now I have this little strip here. I think I'll do dark, what am I doing here? Dark blue? I don't know what I'm doing. Dark. I'm just sort of playing around on my palette. I think I'm just going to lay down this color, whatever it is. So I'm trying to be careful not to get this on the dress because, of course, as I say that, I get it on the dress. Because I'm going to probably not use this color in the dress. But it acts as a nice contrast. And grounds around the space. So let's continue this on over to this side. Can you see? Yeah. Okay, too light though. Let's grab some more paint. And just working in that little crevice there. Evening it out now. Extending it all the way to the bottom of the page. Let's take this up so that it kind of matches the right line. Like so. Alright, so now it feels to me like she's sort of like on the top of a cliff, like overlooking the sky. That's a pretty cool effect, I think. So I'm gonna leave it like that. Okay, so now the paper is extremely buckled and wrinkly, so I don't really want to go over it again before it's dry with the watercolor. So what we're going to do is I'm going to throw down some color for the dress, I think. Now this is something I really haven't decided too much about, but I think because of the leaves and the flowers and all that, I think I'm going to go with a green. So I'm just going to lay down the base for that without getting into any of the big details, like over here. So I'm just going to, let's start, in case I don't like the color. Yeah, it's okay. Yep. So I'm just doing a light wash of green. Now what we'll do is we will add lighting effects and all those things, but for right now I'm just laying down the base color to get us going. There's nothing more intimidating than a blank spot on the paper. So if I'm doing watercolor, if I can get the majority of the page covered. Let me add some yellow to this. I think that would be kind of nice. So what I try to do is just add as much watercolor paint to the page as I can. So I want it to be more intense there and kind of lighter up there, so kind of just plop it down in one spot and then spread it around. I know that this is probably not the correct way to do it, but I didn't really like go to school for watercolor. I don't really know how it's supposed to work. I just know what I do. Just sort of scuff it around until it works. Aww. Wonderful. And thank you, Debbie. I'm just reading the chat stuff. Okay, so at this point, let's take a look and see. Yeah. So at this point we have the background pretty well covered. Now again, this won't be how it ends up, but this is just the start. And I also covered the dress, just a base layer of the dress. And really, this acts to pretty much give us a nice base color for the rest of the page. This is kind of sopping wet. Hold on, let me just lift this up. My bad. So, mistakes are always correctable. Alrighty. Okay, yes, I think we've fairly much established all of the base colors for each area. So, does anybody have any questions about any of my process or what I did today? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this video up. I need to let this dry. This will be session 1 or step 1, the background. And I'll go through and do these in like hour segments until we get the page done. So yeah, if anybody has any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat right now. Otherwise, I will answer your questions in the comments below. And if you liked this video, I really appreciate you watching it. Don't forget to hit the like button, the thumbs up, that really helps me out. And as always, I hope you guys have a wonderful, magical time coloring. Alright, bye. I hope to catch you guys too.